Welcome to the first in a series of videos that I'm going to be doing this weekend, just to show how to get started with Codename Eureka. To bear in mind, Codename Eureka is just the code name for the game. The name has not been decided yet. It could be the Lovejoy Exodus, something else. We're still to set the name. I'm just going to start the map here. As I've mentioned before, the map is procedurally generated. So this is based on Perlin noise, and that sets up terrain. This terrain is on 5 different levels. As you'll see, the mountains do go underground like that. So, to get started, one of the most important things to remember about this game is that it punishes a lack of preparation. You really need to think about where you're going to choose your landing spot before you do it. Some of the most important elements that you're going to need are resources, and also you're going to need terrain that is easy to build on. So this smooth terrain here is much easier to build on than rough terrain, which is also much easier to build on than mountainous terrain. So we're going to go through choosing a landing spot. The most important elements when you're starting off are some of the most basic ones, like aluminium, copper, and iron. Now you may have noticed in the map here green splotches arriving. Now those are based on what I've chosen in this resource menu. So if I kind of uncheck aluminium here, you'll see the splotches change. So I can see where the aluminium is, I can see where the copper is, and I can see where the iron is. So this map is going to be a bit of a challenge, because what I've seen here is that the copper is really only up in that top right hand corner here. The iron is all in those mountain peaks to the south and to the northwest, and the aluminium, there's a bit down here in the south and there's a bit up here. So I could try to start here or here. I'm going to try here, I think. Quickly, I'm going to just check what it's like underground. Do I have room to build when I go underground? So it's going to get much more difficult, and I'm building on top of other mineral seams, so that might not be the best. So I'm going to move over a little bit here. So I've got some room here, I'm going down. This looks better. Now the reason I need to choose my landing spot fairly well is because there's a range. When I land, the lander and the command center, they give me a communications range, and I can't put drones outside of that range without building communication towers. So I'm going to place my first lander here. Well, in fact, the only lander. I'm going to place it here, and you'll see that my lander has landed here, and construction has begun of the beginning of the colony. Now the animation is a little chunky here. That's because I'm recording at 15 frames a second, but the animation itself runs, even on my laptop, at between 30 and 60 frames a second. By right-clicking, I can see what's being built. So this center one is my command center. It's going to take 3 weeks. Up here is a connector node. Connector nodes are like the sewers, the access tunnels, the infrastructure for electricity, water, and air get transmitted through those. So you need to build a good network of these. An ARP is for air recycling and processing. It does air and water for the colony. This is my wind farm, which is going to generate electricity. So the command center, the ARP, and the wind farm are the only things that are built apart from connector nodes. So you need to quickly think about other buildings, which I'll be looking at in the next video. Before I finish this one, you'll see that here this red circle indicates my communication range. So I'm going to place my first few mines So of course, first of all, probably copper. I'll see if there's aluminium nearby. Only here. So I'll place my first mine on this aluminium here. A mine will extract ore from the tile it's on, all the tiles around it, and also if we go underground, it'll do the same here, but only one level. If I want to go further, I have to dig down again. So I'll mine here. And there's my little miner. I'll go up here, try to find some copper. This looks good. Good. Go underground. It's not going to be very efficient if I build here. So maybe I could think about digging here. Yeah, that looks better. So I've got lots of copper. Go down again. Still lots of copper. So I'll place my second mine there. Now, that's aluminium and copper taken care of, but I need to get at iron, and the nearest iron is up here. So I'm going to hit escape so that my cursor is not placing mines anymore. And I think I'll build a communication tower here on the shore. Oh, as you can see, there's a notification on the bottom there. I'll just do that again so you can see it. I'm out of communications range. So I need to go a little bit closer. We'll try here. There we go. So now he's preparing the terrain and he's going to get my communication tower built. The next step is to kind of prepare the terrain around here so that I can build the other buildings that will be necessary, such as an agri-dome for producing food, the ore processor in order to process that ore that I'm mining, and I'm also going to need to think about providing more power to my colony with the wind farm. I'm going to quickly just prepare a few of these. That's a connector there. And just for good luck, I'll put one here. That icon will need to change, so we're not completely finished. This is an early demo. Now I've advanced one turn. Nothing much has happened because we're still digging. I could choose to mine a little bit more somewhere, but I'm going to save that guy for when the iron becomes available. Now I have my connector nodes. I can do something else, which is dig down. To dig down, this is to build an air shaft. It needs to be connected to a connector node, and air shafts count as connector nodes. So I'll build one here. Now if I go underground one level, he's now building a cavern. So this guy is digging a little cavern, and that's where I'll be able to build things like habitats. So we'll go back up a level. That's pretty much all I can do for now, unless I wanted to mine. So I'm going to go again. Now my dozers have finished preparing that terrain, which means that this guy is probably also finished. Yep. So I'll pop my communications array because I really want to get to that iron as soon as possible. If I don't get iron ore so that I can process it, I won't be able to do much more in the game beyond turn 15 or so. So I'll place a few of the buildings. The agri-dome. I'll place an ore processor. And for power, a wind farm. Now, to know what you're going to be looking at, you're going to need statistics, but we'll look at that in a future video. Quickly move along now, and now you can see my first buildings are popping up. You can see this text here. This is going to be replaced with images like this These images are provided by Aaron Isaacs, who's working on the art for the game. So that's the end of the first video. I'm going to record another one now that will go a little bit more into what we should build underground, as well as the statistics, and really dig down as to what those statistics mean and how we can use them to advance the game.